Distractions are everywhere, especially in these times when a lot of us are still trying to work from home. There are not only the usual emails and calls that are distracting us from what we're working on at the moment, but there is also social media, the dishes in the sink, and the sofa calling for our attention. In this video, I will share 10 practical tips and tricks that I use in my daily life to keep me distraction-free. I have a list of 4 more overarching work and life tips, and then also 6 more technical tips and tricks. We'll start with the overarching ones. Let's get into it. If your surroundings are messy, and when you look around you feel like there is an ever-growing to-do list, you're not going to be able to focus on the task at hand. That's why I usually like to do a small cleaning either before I start my workday or just before I go to bed. This doesn't have to be a huge cleaning session, you just need 5 to 15 minutes. When you take away all the little things that are laying around, your clothes on the floor, the dishes on the sink, just remove them from your space and you will not get distracted by all those things that are bugging you. You can accomplish so much in just that small amount of time, and it will give you the conditions you need to start your day in a productive way. Overarching tip number 2. In his book, Getting Things Done by David Allen, he talks about writing every small to-do item that you have down on a list. That is because all the thoughts and to-dos that pop up in your mind is the brain's way of reminding you that you need to get them done. The bad thing about this is that your brain reminds you at times when you can't do anything about it. That way, your brain is gonna keep reminding you of all these little tasks and disrupting the work you're doing right now. Implementing the writing everything down mindset has helped me tremendously in focusing on what is important at the moment. Because if you write everything down in one place where you know that you can find everything and will be reminded about them at the right time, like for example, bring your lunch bag to work. You don't have to go think about that all the time, but you need to get that reminder as soon as you're going to step out the door and head to work. Therefore, you set a timer for that one, and then you don't have to worry about it when you're sitting at work the day before trying to focus on what you're doing at the moment. Having a list of all these things make me sure that I know what I'm doing and that I won't forget about something. Make sure that this list or these lists are accessible at any time. So I prefer to have a digital list. I use the Microsoft To Do app, and then I've divided it into the different projects that I have ongoing at the moment, and then just a bigger list of small to-do items around the house. By having a list of the 3 most important tasks you have for that day, you're gonna be focused on doing those 3 tasks. This should be a list of the things that if you only completed these 3 tasks, you would be happy with how your day went. That way you won't get equally distracted when someone emails or calls you about something that needs to be done right now, because you know where your priorities are and they are at these 3 tasks. Number 4, preparing. If you know that you have a long session where you're gonna have to focus on something for a longer amount of time, you need to be prepared. That means grab any snack, water, any food you need, make sure you go to the bathroom and turn your phone to silent mode to not have any unnecessary distractions that you don't need when you're gonna have to be focused. By preparing this way, you will minimize any distractions that you can have an impact on removing. So now we're getting into the more technical tips and tricks. So number 5 is about removing all your junk mail. And no, I'm not saying you should remove your tens and thousands of junk mail that you have in your inbox. I'm saying start with the last 100 emails that you've got into your inbox. Go through these emails, see which ones have I not even opened, which ones do I really not care about. And from those 2 categories, just click on the emails and click unsubscribe on all of them. This way, you're gonna get rid of most of the junk mail that you get by just spending about half an hour looking through your email inbox. If you, for the upcoming month, keep doing this, whenever an email drops into your inbox, you look at it, decide, okay, is this something that I still want to receive? You keep it. And if it's something that's just bothering you, taking away your attention, giving you notifications that you don't care about, unsubscribe from it. And in a month, you will have removed most of the junk mail that you get that you're not interested in. Another great recommendation that I've gotten from David Allen's book about getting things done is the 0 inbox method. This basically means that at the end of your day, your email inbox is going to be at 0 emails. And how do you do this? Well, first of all, I would recommend you to put all of the current email items that you have in your inbox in an archives folder. Or if you're new at your job, you can start this right away. So, what does this even mean? Well, it means that every time you check your inbox, you go through the items one by one. If it's a fast reply, you reply once. If it's going to take you some work to reply to the email, you put it in a separate folder. You can delete it and you can put it in your archives folder. My recommendation for the archives folder is also not to have many subfolders in that one, but rather to categorize your emails using the categorize function that basically exists in every email program. That way you can categorize an email with several different areas instead of just one and then not knowing where to look for that email. The way that I've set up my method is a little bit different from David Allen's. So I usually leave the emails that I'm going to respond to soon or within a day in the inbox and then just do it when I have time for it. Then I put the items that I know that these ones, I'm going to use them soon. It might be a presentation that someone sent that I know I'm going to have to look at this in a week. So that I put in my ongoing folder instead. So I do basically not have a list of all the things that I have to do. I keep them in my inbox. And then at the end of the day, I go through my inbox, do all these steps, and then I'm done. One thing that I did regarding to my work computer is to remove everything that has a blinking light or that has, one of those icons that says 3 unanswered messages. Because this is just going to pop up on my desktop all the time. I see those blinking things all the time, and that makes me want to skip what I'm doing and just go and read that message or email. So to the extent that you can, try to remove all those little blinking lights, because it's better that you go and check your email when you feel like you should, instead of when the email is just popping up, because it might not be something important. If someone wants you something really important, they're gonna call you and not email you. On my phone, I only have email notifications on during certain hours of the day. When I close my work for the day, I don't want to keep receiving notifications about emails that are incoming. As I said before, if someone wants me something really important, they're gonna call me and they won't email me. So between 7 in the night and 7 in the morning, I don't receive any notifications for my emails at all. And then there's the big one, notifications on your phone from all the gazillion apps that you have. My recommendation here would be that if you have a lot of notifications on, either every time you get one, you go into the settings and turn them off for that specific app, or you go through all the notifications at once. In all phones, you have a list of what notifications are turned off, and for every app that you're not interested in getting a push from, just turn it off. By getting rid of all these tiny distractions, you're going to be able to be more focused, because every time your phone buzzes, your brain is immediately going to go, oh, I wonder what that was. And then when you check it, you get really disappointed because it was just some app that you're not using that's giving you a notification about something you don't care about. Number 8, social media slimming. If you are like most people, you still enjoy using your social media. It's the usage that takes a lot of time and the posts that you don't really care about that is the distracting part. So it's not only good to remove notifications on a high level, it's also good to go through your social media and actually think about, okay, what here do I really want to see? So the first part of this is removing all the people you don't care about. For example, at both Instagram and Facebook, you don't even have to unfriend the people that you don't want to follow. You can just unfollow them and see what notifications and posts you really want to see from them. And they will never know. The second part you can do here is deep diving in the notification settings. A lot of the social media have settings for every type of notification that you can receive from them. Both direct notifications and then through emails and texts. I would recommend you to go through that, especially if you're like me and get notifications from every little group you're a part of on Facebook and you never read any of those posts these days. I found that every time I was checking Instagram, I was automatically clicking on Facebook right after. The thing is, I haven't really been using Facebook actively for several years. It was just a habit of clicking on the button after I've been looking at Instagram, which I really did want to do. So the thing that I did was that I just moved the Facebook icon from my starting page to one of the folder pages. That way I managed to remove the muscle memory of clicking on that icon just after the other. This is something that you also could implement in your own life. Are there any specific apps that you know that I shouldn't be spending time here, it doesn't give me anything? Well, just hide them somewhere that will make them harder to access. This last tip you probably know, but are you really using it? Number 10 is book shorter meetings. We all know that people book meetings that are half an hour, 2 hours, or even more. But do we really need all that time? Most meetings that are an hour could probably be 45 minutes, and a lot of the meetings that are half an hour could probably be 25. If you implement the habit of booking shorter meetings, everyone who goes to your meetings will get a break, which is really appreciated, because they know that in that break, before they have their other meeting, they have time to go grab a coffee, have a phone call, go to the bathroom, and all those things that you can't do if you have meetings back to back. It will also make sure that you are professional and are on time for your next meeting. There you have it, my tips and tricks on how to live a distraction-free life. I hope you learned something new that will help you get rid of some distractions in your own life. And remember, distractions will happen. No matter how hard you try, you will get distracted by things. The thing here is to not get down on yourself for being distracted, but if you can, make sure that you take a break instead of getting distracted. If you feel like, okay, now my focus isn't where it should be, go take a break. Do something else. Do the thing you want to do. Get the to-do list done, whatever. Just do what you gotta do and then get back to work, instead of just sitting there scrolling to your phone and realizing, oops, it's been an hour since I did the things I should be doing. And you still feel like you got no break. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!